Hi everybody, it's me, Rogue Assassin, or as my new YouTube name implies, What If Rogue Stories. Yes, I've changed my name, so the algorithm of What If channels, you will find me easier. Yes, I've changed my name. So if you're looking for me, or if people are searching What Ifs specifically, my name will pop up, and I won't pop up in any of the hard to find lists this time. So yeah, this will probably change YouTube algorithm or something like that. I hope it's just a quick name changer, so I can say it be more easier to find in the What If community. So yeah, speaking about the community, I have not posted in a while. After I updated my name, I have not posted in a while. So I'm bringing you the next video of what if I was in Rwby universe. I think that's what the name is called. I think that's what I called this series that I'm doing. But yeah. Anyway, we're gonna begin now. We're gonna be beginning now. Damn, I am stuttering a lot this time. You can tell I haven't recorded for a while. So hold up. I'll see you in the video. Okay, last time we hit Wolf, and last time we I cannot use words. Last time we left off, Arthur just got knocked out of his power surge, or I like to comment, what I like to refer it as his true display of power that he will be able to use somewhere in the future if he trains more. Um, yeah, yeah, we just came from Arthur's backlash of power and dropping unconscious, and also they communicating about what should they do now, because that surge of power might have warned as well. We know the enemy and we know her name well, Osmond's ex-wife. I like to call it Osmond's ex-wife because it is Osmond's ex-wife, if we have to be honest. But yeah, nothing about the list. Now we have a new problem. There is something, or there is someone stronger than the maidens. Osmond has discovered this person. So does the enemy knows about this person, because the sudden display of power proves that he is kind of stronger than the maidens. In what I mean by stronger than the maidens is he focuses more on the light side of things. Now I'm also going to do a quick brief summary on what has been happening with the Grim, the new type of Grim that has been spawning that our character had some mix in. So to put in more context on what's happening with the Grim, I'm just going to give you a quick small spoiler here. Uh, it involves the moon, and it involves our character. We also have other characters from other different planes of existence, or should I say universes, which is his brother and someone else, which is his brothers and someone else busy approaching him. But what I didn't add in the last video was this scene. As we zoom out from those characters coming to the Rwby universe, or finding their way into the Rwby universe, we zoom into a different, darker plane of existence, somewhere out of the universe's border, somewhere out of basically light, where light never shines, where there's not a speck of life left. We see a man sitting on the throne, and he picks something up, a very surge of bright energy. This energy, he can tell, is it. Before he was gonna finish his sentence, he stands up and states, "Ready the men. We march to wherever that surge of power came from, and we take him back. Soon that power will be mine, and I'll have the power of creation on my side, and finally be able to take destruction." But we must first focus on him. To that surge of power, quickly, ready the army. As we zoom out of this dark plane of existence and we see many different dark beings such as monsters and all those other things that will come from horror movies that you would see. As we zoom out of these many different dark monsters that lurk in cages around corners, and we zoom out further into the undead warriors as we see them marching over an entire plane of a universe, capturing them. Basically capturing the universe and corrupting it to its core. As we also see something else. It looks like Grimm, but it's not. The difference being between these Grimm is they are white, but they do not have red markings on them. And the difference being, this stuff is more darker than the Grimm we know. Yes, there are 3 types of Grimm that exist now. 3 types. And they all were after one target. We all know that target. So yeah, Arthur has a target on his back now from multiple people. Let's see how the story goes, because Rwby is going to turn into a warfield. If you thought what's going to happen in the Rwby story as I continue is bad, no. This is worse. So yeah, now that the scene is out of the way, we skip back to Arthur. As Arthur is passed out on a couch in Osborn's office, speaking with Crow and what's his general commander, what's her face, I don't know, but it's Osborn's friend, the one that brought the entire army to the capital of, I don't know the school's name. You can tell I haven't done this video in a while, so yeah. Yo, my nose is also blocked. Give me a minute. As we see them discussing a few things with Mrs. Goodwitch as well, that is with them. As they are discussing a few things about the common occurrence that just happened. Number 1, Osborn has discovered that there is a being, which is this being that is laying on his couch passed out. He's stronger than the maiden. Number 2, he might be even stronger than God, than the 2 gods that exist now. Number 3, he doesn't think that he's even from this plane of existence. How does Osborn know this? Because number 1, there's no information. The gods never gave any information that there was a being stronger than them. They didn't even give information. Oh, actually, to be more specifically, they did give him information that there was more than one universe. But the information was so vague that he couldn't understand it. All they told him was, there's more than one universe. And there's more than one universe, and they do not have the, how can I say it, authority to enter those universes or disturb any other being that is equal to them. He didn't understand it at first, but now he understands it. Being equaler, being the person that's laying on his couch now, yes, you can consider Arthur a god, in a way, or a reincarnation of a god, to be specific. And yeah, so yeah, things has been happening outside Rwby universe that, well, I will not get into. Reasons being, this is, if I get into the things that is happening outside the Rwby universe and not follow the topic story, then we'll be here for a while. And I also want to keep that a secret for another thing that I'll be doing. If I reach 1,000 subscribers, and the people that is watching this video might help me with this. If I reach 1,000 subscribers, I might post episode 1 of Arthur's story, or what I like to call Lost Tales. It's a specific anime I've been working on, but let's stop it there. Now let's continue what has been happening with the conversation. The conversation was discussing about the boy's origin, or Arthur's origin, and if he has any family in this type of play in the world of Rwby. They are trying to figure out where he came from and what family he comes from. There is no information about that because he doesn't come from a family, and number one, he dropped out of nowhere. Yeah. As they are discussing this, we see the Rwby crew enter. In basically, they are basically scared of what happened to one of their friends and one of their substitution partners. What I mean by substitute partners, literally substitute partner. He is a substitute or standby if one of the Rwby members gets taken out of battle, he will stand in for them. It's mostly because Osmond had no team for him, so he made him a substitute until a team becomes available. And that's going to be a while before that happens. Well, he already has one member on his team, and we all know her name. We all know her name. Anyway, as we see him busy sleeping down, this is something weird that happens. It's involving Rwby this time. Or it's involving the entire Rwby crew. As the entire Rwby crew enters the office, basically questioning if he's okay. Miss Goodwitch states that he's fine and that he's stable. Whatever just happened to him, well, didn't affect him in any way. Yes, it didn't affect him in any way. ... But they are still trying to, how can I say, investigate what actually happened to him and what triggered him to do the thing he did. As we zoom in out of that conversation and into Arthur's brain or his head, we see Arthur in front of a dark room. It's dark, or not a dark room, a white room, like the void. As he is looking around, as he calls out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" As his voice echoes across this white room, it seems pretty far and deep. This room is massive. It could go on, like, for what he sees, it goes on forever, and it never stops. This is a literal void. He looks around as he keeps on looking around and sees someone else. A person with a white hoodie, a long sleeve white hoodie that goes all the way to his feet. It's like a coat, but it's white. As this is covering his face, he's wearing a mask over his face as well, as he has two swords on the side of him, as he's also carrying the axe. As he's also carrying other weapons that has tags and different needles on his on his legs, knives on his, actually, knife holder on his leg. He has a bracelet that has needles, and he has what it looks like. For what we know it's a kunai. It's a 3-pronged kunai with a tag. We know this is the Flying Rising, but he doesn't know that, so he just thinks it's another knife with a tag on it. As he walks up to our Arthur, and he states, "It's funny looking at myself, really." As Arthur says, "Excuse me? Who are you? I don't think I know you." As he laughs. Arthur is a bit smaller than him, because remember, this is the younger version of Arthur speaking to the older version. As the older version of Arthur laughs. Yeah, it's really weird speaking to myself. As Arthur states, I recognize you. Who are you, by the way?" As the older version of Arthur states, "Isn't it obvious? I'm you." As Arthur states, "Excuse me? You're me." As the older version of Arthur states, "Yes, I am the older you, or your past life. The life you forgot, and you are trying to remember." As Arthur states, "So you're the person I forgot about?" "Yes, I'm not a person you forgot about, but I am the life you forgot about. Well, the life you forgot about, but you're actually going to be grateful that you are now younger again. As Arthur states, why? Because you can learn things in ways that I could only dream of. See, you are now younger than your older self, so that means you get to retrain your body in the way you want it. So that means you don't need to assume, you get to retrain what he's trying to say. I can't put this in words anymore. I had it in my head perfectly. No. What he's trying to say is that because he's been jumping universes, he's been getting older, and he's been learning new things. Because he's been getting older, it's becoming harder for him to train in this new type of fighting styles that he keeps on learning. Now that he's younger, and that he's jumped between a whole lot of universes, all the knowledge that his older self had is now, how can I say it, it's basically nailed down into his body, and his body is retraining himself in the Pacific way on how to use all these abilities, but he's going to become better than his past self. What he is saying is he's going to be better than he was before because he's now younger and gets to do things all over again. As he states, that's interesting. So you're saying that I'll become better than you. As older Arthur states, yes, you'll become even better than me, more wiser than me, and also stronger than me. As he states, that's incredible. So why am I here though? I am here to tell you that there's a great threat approaching, and that you must prepare, and prepare fast. You don't have a lot of time. They already know you're here, and they're on the move. And when they get here, they'll destroy this universe and everybody in it. And I don't think those two gods that is busy watching over this universe is gonna stop them. I don't think they have the power to. As he states, wait, so you're saying, yes, whatever's after you, it's gonna kill everyone to get you, and get the power that's within inside you. So I urge you to train and leave this universe immediately if you want to save your friends. As he states, as he looks down at his hands and states, the power that's within inside me, my friends could die from it, can they? As he looks up at his older self, as his older self states, can you please... Yes. That small stop was him thinking about what he said. As his older self states, yes, your friends can die of the power that you hold, but if you use it right, you can save a lot of people. But it's going to take a while for you to master. So I urge you, do it quickly. And to move fast. Because you cannot stay in one universe forever. Unless you want that universe to be destroyed by the same people that's after you and your power. As we see the older version of Arthur disappearing, and states, wait, what were you like back then? What was I like? That's a question as he slowly starts fading away. Well, I was exactly like you. Arrogant. As he starts mentioning all the things how Arthur is like. As he states, I also didn't go by the name of Arthur. I had a secret name. A name that I always called myself, to hide my true identity. It was Power Child. As he winks and disappears out of, how can seemingly light. As he states before his face disappears, I will be with you, and if you need me, call upon me, and I will assist you in battle, however I can, as he disappears in light. as Arthur turns around, as he can see the entire white plane of void turn black, and sees an entity staring at him. As it opens its eyes, as it has white eyes, as it states, free me from this pain. As we see in back into the Rwby universe, where Ruby's having this conversation, we see Arthur open his eyes, but he's not awake, and he has white eyes, again with the white eyes. As this eyes is so bright that it basically illuminates the entire room and blinds everybody. As Arthur closes his eyes again and actually wakes up this time, as he basically has this pain feeling in his head and states, what happened? As Rwby rushes over to Arthur and states, Arthur, are you alright? As Arthur states, yeah, I am fine, I just have this splitting headache. As he's blinking, as he's trying to, how can I say it, he's trying to process what just happened to him. He remembers everything. He remembers the dream, he remembers speaking to Rwby, but what he doesn't remember is after he walked past Ruby's room. Everything just went blank. And then he started remembering certain dreams. As he states, my head feels like it's gonna explode. As Osborne walks over and states, young man, I would suggest you rest. You had a pretty much an interesting light show, if I have to say, and you destroyed half of the school's a quarter of the school's hallway. Yeah, you can say you did pretty much a lot of damage. As he states, really? My head is killing me. As he lays down back on the couch, as everyone's surrounding him, as they wait, give him a minute, as Osborne asks, young man, if you mind, I would like to ask you a few questions. And what are those questions, Osborne? Please, shoot. As Osborne states, well, first of all, I would like to ask where you're from. As he states, he doesn't know. The last thing he remembers is being in the forest, out in the woods, and it's snowing. That's the only thing he remembers. The woods, huh? As Osmond basically starts rubbing his chin. Or not rubbing his chin, but basically staring into a plane of existence that no one else can stare into. Thinking. As he states, any other information you would like to give me? Um, uh, I have nothing, which is a lie. He has information to give Osman, he just doesn't want to give it to him. Reasons being, he doesn't trust Osman fully, which is a good idea. Don't give Osman the information that you are withholding from him. That's a good idea. Reasons being, because Osman's also holding information from you. And after chapter 4, chapter 4 or something, where Osmond released his entire story because of that, because he was in love with the enemy, the immortal enemy that they are fighting now. Yeah, it's a wise choice to keep this information from Osborne, but you're gonna need to tell him eventually. So yeah, he's gonna keep that information, and also on top of that, he doesn't want to freak everyone out on he's the reason why there's a massive army from another universe that's gonna destroy all universes just to get his power is coming here now, and they'll come in with a dark army that will destroy Remnant and kill everyone here. Yeah, he's gonna hold that information inside, and he's also gonna keep the information that he met his past life, and his past life told him these things as well. So yeah, he's gonna stay quiet on that one. He's gonna stay quiet on a lot of things. As Osborne looks at Arthur and states, "Very well. If you do not, if you get any memories of anything important that I need to know, please let me know. As Arthur states, I will let you know immediately, Osman. If I remember anything that you need to know, I will let you know, Osman. As he states, good. Because whatever you know could, as he stops there, as he starts thinking on these words, whatever you know could help us discover your origins and where you come from. As Osborne lied through his teeth there, actually, what he meant to say was whatever he knows could help them discover something new about either Remnant or about either the evil that they're facing and a way to kill her. That's what he's trying to state. As Arthur states, that will be fine. As he stands up very, very shakily, as he wanted to fall over, but Ruby caught him and states, "Slow down, you still need a rest." As Yang backs Ruby up, saying, "Yeah, you went through quite a episode." As he states, "Thank you." As he tells Osborne and everyone else that he'll be in his room resting from what happened. As he leaves the office, Osborne's office, with the help of Ruby's team, as Osborne is thinking, that boy is mysterious and cunning as ever. I wonder what else he's hiding from me. Yes, Osborne knows he's hiding something, but he doesn't know how much he's hiding. Well, he knows, technically, what he knows, Osborne is hiding nothing. What he knows, Osborne is basically like telling everything about the truth, but he knows something's off. So yeah, there's a bit of a shaky relationship between Osborne and Arthur right now. It's a whole lot of lies being flung out. As Osborne continues talking with the general, uh, Miss Goodwitch and Crow. As Crow stating, whatever he did, it was a. Oh gosh, I need to breathe. Give me a minute. Sorry for that brief and rude stop. Um, I was doing this with no script, and I'm doing this in one take, so yeah, I'm gonna need to stop once in a while to take a sip and a rest. As Crow states, whatever he did, it was a surge of energy that could even kill Grim from a mile radius. What he knows, it was a very powerful stream of energy. He doesn't know what the energy is, he doesn't know even if it's magic. As Osborne confirms that that the boy released, is technically not magic. It's a type of magic, but it's not magic completely. As what Osborne is trying to say is it has magical properties, as in you can use it as magic, but at the same time the power is not technically magic of sorts. It's a, as Osborne states, it's a type of power that only gods can possess. It's the type of power that only gods can possess, and the power that one god possesses specifically, but in very little amounts of it. As Crow states, what do you mean the power that only gods can possess? As he states, the power that only gods can possess. As he doesn't understand what Osborne really means, and I'm not sure if Osborne told everybody that the gods killed the. Actually, no. No, Osborne wouldn't say that. So, Osborne would only say it's the power that gods would possess, and the power that only him and not Sunder, him, the four maidens, and her that possesses. So, as that's what he's trying to state. He's trying to state the only people that can match him is him, the four maidens, and her, which is lying, because what they saw was only a brief moment of his power. If he was to let his power out for 5 seconds or for 10 seconds, they would have seen nearly half of his power. Actually, they would have only seen a quarter, because 10 seconds worth yeah, it's only a quarter they would see. They saw it only for a brief 3 seconds, so what they assume is the power that he has is equal to the maidens, Osborne, and her. It's basically he's equal to them. But he knows that power is not magic. It's some form of, it's something you can use. As Osborne is trying to make sense of what he's basically discovered. As Osborne's going in the is speaking in his head, the energy that he released is very powerful. It's very powerful, being it's not negative. It also holds emotions. As is, what does he mean by emotions? The energy he released is positive energy. A lot of positive energy, or energy of light. As Osborne's going over this information in his head, the general speaks up. Whatever power he has, we should utilize it and experiment with it. See if we can get that power into different types of weaponry, and maybe use it and maybe test if it has some effect against Grimm, as that's what the general is suggesting. As Osborne states, that will not work. I will not allow that. He is a student, first of all, and Miss Goodwish has full authority over that. You will not use that child as a test experiment to see if the power that he holds is any effective against Grimm. Am I understood, General? As he states that immediately, because the General is giving the idea of maybe we can use him against the Grimm. That's the General's perspective here. As the General wanted to retaliate against Osborne, but Miss Goodwich and Crow states, yes, Osborne's kind of right on this one. We cannot use a kid to fight our battles. And plus, even if he had a hidden power to kill Grimm and maybe also kill her, we cannot we cannot put him we cannot put him in we cannot let him fight our battles for us. We must fight our own battles, is what he's trying to say. As Crow agrees with Osborne, as Crow, but as Crow states that, as Miss Goodwich and Osborne agree, we cannot use him to face our battles. We must face it our own. As he states, as the general stating, by making an army of children hunters. As he states, as it sounds, yes, but remember, he's an unknown variable, as Osborne states. He's an unknown variable. We don't know much about him, and we don't know if he's even working for the enemy. So, I would rather suggest keep our cards close to our chests, and stay quiet about all of this. Understood? As Osborne states, and dismiss the meeting. As we zoom back, as we go back to our character. Osborne. No, not Osborne. Arthur. There we go. As Arthur is laying down in his room, resting, as the Rwby crew is basically inside his room as well. It's a small room, enough for one person, but for multiple, no. This room is too cramped. As he's gotten inside, as he's laying in his bed, in pain, as he thanks Rwby for assisting him. As Rwby said, sure, if you need anything, just call us. We'll help you. As he thanks Rwby. That will be much appreciated. As he sits up and states, thanks to all of you as well. It's I really appreciate you helping me there. As the Yang states, hey, no sweat. You are our substitute member, And if anything happens to you, then you cannot replace anybody that's on our team that gets hurt. As he laughs a bit and says, "Yeah, that is true." As as Blake looks around and says, "Yeah, I think we should leave him to rest now." As Ruby says, "Oh yeah, yeah, you can just get some rest. We'll leave." As Yang, as he waves to the Ruby crew as they leave, as he sits up and closes his eyes and states, "Her." Actually, he sits up because his eyes is already closed. He sits up and states, "Her." As he's going over the information that is in his head, as as he moves his head, making like he's looking up into the ceiling, as he got everything, as he opens his one eye for the first time, as he sees his room, he sees his ceiling, as he states, "I see light. I see colors. Is that a roof? What is happening? I don't see darkness anymore." As he puts his head down, a room. I see a room. What's going on? As he looks down, as he looks at his hands, my hands. This is my hands. Hold up, what's going on? As he stands up quickly, as he's looking left, right, as he states, "Wait, I can see. How can am I not?" As he puts his eye to his left eye, as it's still black, obviously, he can still see, as he puts his hand to his right eye, as it turns all black, as he states, "Wait a minute, I can see, I can see," as he starts smiling, as he's quite happy because he can finally see, as he basically goes to the nearest mirror that's in his room, which is next to his cupboard, as he looks into the mirror, as he looks at his eyes and says, I can see," as he's quite excited, as he's jumping around stating, I can see," as he looks around left, right, and states, "Wow, now that I can see, my room is quite small. Very small. Whoa, it's horrendously small." As the room looks like this. He has a bed to the side of the wall. Next to the wall, next to the wall, like somewhere outwards, there's a bathroom. There's a bath, or next to the wall, first is his bed. Then opposite, somewhere in front of his bed, a door. Then opposite his bed is his bathroom, and opposite his bathroom is a cupboard, which has a mirror. As he also has a small table next to his, basically, yeah, basically to small table to his bed. He doesn't have he doesn't have a kitchen. As he states, "Damn, my room is small, very small. Was I living in this place?" As he looks around, as he states, "I can see. Well, I guess I should go to sleep then." As he immediately gets to sleep, as he had too much excitement today. He's like, "I'll explore the place with my eyes tomorrow," as he passes out. Next morning, don't know, next morning, time XXX. He wakes up. As Arthur wakes up and states, opens his eyes. As he states, "So that wasn't all a dream. I can see. I can definitely see." As he gets up and gets dressed, for the first time using his eyes. As he doesn't have a struggle getting dressed because he's blind, he's not any more blind. He has one eye. And if you're wondering who this character is, it's Arthur. This is Ruby style Arthur. as he doesn't have the uh, yeah, I would say he has it. He looks just like this, but his one eye is closed. As he puts on his school clothes, everything using his eyes as he's excited as he opens the door. As when he opens the door for the first time, he sees the hallway. As he states, whoa, this is weird. This is my first time seeing the school for the first time. As he walks out, as he hears Rwby behind him, as Ruby's calling Arthur, hey, over here, as he stops. He basically is looking left, so he's looking away from Rwby, as he says Rwby, as he says, yeah, Arthur, are you okay? As he turns around. As all Rwby can see is Arthur, but with one eye open. As Arthur can see, as Arthur sees, this picture is better. As Arthur sees Rwby, a black mixed red girl that looks like his age. She has silver eyes. She wears a dress. She wears a dress with a battle skirt mixed in with black and red, and wears a red hoodie, which complements her how she looks. And her weapon, her weapon, what it looks like, it's a cube on her back. He can't see the full weapon yet, but yeah, he can see. He states, whoa, oh, whoa, this is interesting. It's my first time seeing Rwby, as he states, with his real eyes. As Rwby notices the one eye open, as he states, hey, your eye, something's wrong with your eye. As he states, yeah, I can see through it. As Rwby states, what? As he states again, Rwby, I can see through my one eye. As as he's actually smiling, as he's excited, as Rwby still doesn't know what he means by that. As she starts thinking, I can see through my one eye. And she finally figures it out, as, yeah, she's happy for him. Just as Rwby, energetic, excited, and starts jumping around, basically celebrating, and jumping around. As he's basically keeping up with Rwby with his eyes, while she's using her semblance, I guess. She states, Arthur, I'm so happy for you. As he states, yeah, I am happy for myself too. As Arthur states, I did not actually know. Now that I see Rwby with my eyes, she's very energetic and very bright. It's an interesting character, Rwby is. As we see Yang. As the next person we see is Yang. As he's like, Rwby, what's going on with you now? As, yeah, Rwby had something happened in the Rwby house, in the with Ruby's team. Nothing bad, something just weird and odd. As Yang states, Rwby, what's going on with you now? As she says it in a playful way, as she looks at Arthur and states, Arthur? As she tilts her head to the side, as in confusion, as he takes a look at Yang and states, damn, she looks, damn, she looks, as in his head, he's stating, damn, now that I can see Yang in person, she's hot. I have to admit, she's hot. I mean, a yellow-haired hottie like that, which man wouldn't fall for her? And she's built as well. She doesn't show the muscle, but I can tell she's built. As he states, hi Yang, I can see now with my one eye. As Yang's like, whoa, really? Damn, I am happy for you. As, yeah, that interaction, if you know Yang, yeah, you know Yang. He's like, I'm happy for, basically acts like the adult. As the next person that appears is both Weiss and Blake. As Weiss and Blake are basically seeing the scene. As he takes a look at Blake first. Blake, bow tie, wears all black and a bit of white. Also looks like a cat. Actually, to be more precise, is a cat. How did Arthur figure, as Arthur looks at the bow tie? It moved. As as he uses a skill he didn't even know he had. As he basically uses his echolocation mixing with his eyes. As he basically he X-rayed see through the bow tie. Well, he can technically do this with his. He can technically. He can't see through their clothes, but he can see how their body's made up. So basically, he can see their body, but he won't be able to see any details of them. As he sees two ears attached to the bow tie. He can't see the bow tie, but he can see the two ears. As he states, she's a faunus. Now that I can see her, it makes sense. So now that doesn't look like a bow tie. It's actually ears. That's being hidden. Interesting. Well, I'm also hiding ears, a tail, and fire breath, but I don't need to mention any of those. Okay, I want you guys to comment down below what species Arthur is, because I just told you what Arthur's busy hiding. He's hiding a reptile. He's hiding a reptile tail. He's hiding reptile ears. He's hiding ears. He's hiding fire breath. He's hiding scales, and he's hiding claws. What type of species do you think he is? He's also fire resistant. And well, I would say yes, he has wings, but he can manifest them, so it's basically hidden as well. So he has 7 things. And he's not a faunus. He's a demi-human. Or technically, yeah, he's a demi-human, technically. So, yeah. I want you guys to comment down below what he is, and this is also going to correlate with some of the other episodes that might be coming out as well. That might change the Rwby story. So if you know the race of if you know Arthur's race, then some of the movesets that he's going to use will make sense if you know what Arthur's race is. As he looks at Weiss. As Weiss looks like what he can see a smug rich girl. A smug rich girl, but a very, how can I say, a person that's very rich, a person that had money to spend and was raised in royalty. She wears white and a bit of red, but also shows a bit of black. She has not silver eyes, as she looks at everyone, and is basically intrigued at the different colors that they seem to wear. If you're wondering why is everybody not in their school clothes, this is the weekend. And he's not even in his school clothes either. So, yeah, this is the weekend. As he states, so what is the Rwby team gonna be doing today? As Rwby states, oh, we're going on a training, as we're gonna do a small training thing. We're gonna do a small, basically training trip in the forest. The person that would be watching us is Miss Goodwitch. As I know this wasn't in the Rwby story, remember this is diverging off of the Rwby story, so I can go any way I want. As the small training trip is gonna be basically, what I'm trying to do is, the small training trip is to get to know Arthur's abilities. For you to get to know Arthur's abilities. As Yang said, yeah, we're going into the forest to fight some Grom.
As he states, cool, can I come? As he states, as Y states, don't you need a vest? I mean, you did go through quite a episode. As we see some of the like school building pieces, like some of the like areas are still a bit broken from what he just did. As he states, I'll be fine. And plus, I need to get, and plus I need to get a bit of training done anyway. So can I join you? As Ruby says, sure, it's just we have to ask Miss Goodwitch if you can come with as well. As he says, that will be no problem, as Miss Goodwitch approaches. As we see Miss Goodwitch state, that will be no problem. If you're sure you're ready to come, if you're sure you want to come with us and do a training and train with the Ruby team, then you may join us. It will be fine with Mr. Arthur. As he thinks, thank you, Miss Goodwitch. As she states, no problem. As I would say, they would go leave. I would say they would not leave immediately. As I'm going to do a small time skip until they get to the forest, as the training starts. Ruby and I would say the people that will train with each other. Ruby is training with Weiss, and Blake is training with Yang. And if you don't know basically the people that I've put together right now, you can take a guess why I put these people together, people together. I'm hinting at something, so I'm gonna give it away. I am hinting at something. It's just I want you guys to figure it out. So I won't say what it is, but I want you guys to figure it out on your own. As as we see Arthur basically meditating in the forest. He's taking breath upon breath and focusing. As he focuses, he sees fire. He enters a dark room with fire. As he walks towards the fire, as the fire gets brighter and warmer, as he starts getting warmed up, as he states, is it just me? Or the more closer I walk to the flame, the more hotter it gets. As he walks closer and closer, as it starts getting warmer and warmer. Outside, as Ruby and Weiss are training, they are the closest to Arthur. As they are busy training, Ruby starts getting warm all of a sudden. Even if it's on a cloudy day, it's very warm for some reason. It started getting warm all of a sudden. She doesn't know why, but she ignores it for now. As Weiss also feels it, but she's also ignoring it. As it starts getting warmer, as we go to Arthur. As Arthur is busy meditating, as you can see, basically it's steam coming off of him. Steam is coming off, but you can't see it. It's very vague steam. You can barely see it. As he's still meditating. As we see inside the dream world, he walks closer, and the fire is getting brighter and hotter at the same time. As he states, it's getting really hot, but I don't seem phased. It's like I'm not even bothered with how hot it is anymore. As he walks closer to the flames, as it gets brighter, as on the outside we see Arthur opens his hand and a flame appears in his hand. As he is holding this flame in his hand, it's getting bigger. As now he's affecting a very wide perimeter. He's basically his heat or his temperature that he's changing is affecting a very wide perimeter, which is affecting Ruby and Yang's fight. Ruby and Yang, Weiss and Yang actually, Weiss and Ruby. Not I wasn't saying Yang the entire time. No, it's Ruby and Weiss. It's affecting their fight as they're getting tired very quickly because it's very warm all of a sudden. As they stop fighting because they don't know what's going on. As Ruby states, Yang, quick question, is it hot? As Weiss states, actually, to be more honest, it really is hot on a day like this, as they are panting and sweating now. As no one's taking note of Arthur, as the heat has gotten all the way to Yang's and Blake's fight. Yang and Blake's fight. As yeah, it's affecting it's only affecting Blake because Yang is it's only affecting Blake for now, but not Yang. But it will soon affect Yang as well. As Miss Goodwitch is still watching Yang and Blake's fight, she's not taking note of Arthur. She does feel the heat, but she ignores it as well. As Rwby and wife are busy talking, as the flame got so big that it started covering Arthur's hand, as it's moving up to his shoulder. As we see Arthur opens his one eye, as his one eye has a slit going down. It's still his blue eye, but just with a slit. As we hear a voice echo in Arthur's head in the dream dimension. As we enter the dream dimension, Arthur's still walking towards this light, as we hear this deep, deep voice. In blackest day and brightest night. In blackest day and brightest night. No, none of my targets shall escape my sight. As the fire inside me burns as bright as day, as bright as the sun. My targets and all those that I feel are my targets shall be reduced to ashes. I awaken, dragon, as this echoes in his head. I awaken, dragon, 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 as it's a constant saying of dragon, 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 as every time he steps, it basically is like doom, 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 as it's still saying dragon, dragon, obviously. As we see on the outside, a symbol appear on Arthur's hand as it's going all the way up to his shoulder, as the flame has carried all the way over Arthur's basically elbow now, as it's going onto his body. As we see finally Rwby take note that Arthur's on fire. As Rwby says, Arthur? As White turns around and looks at Arthur and says, Arthur, as they rush over, but they realize the closer they get to Arthur, the more warmer it gets, to the point where it's basically unbearable. As they can't get closer because it's like they're walking into the fire. It's like they're walking into a volcano. As it stops saying dragon and saying burn, as it's now saying burn, 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 as he keeps on walking into the fire. Closer and closer and closer he gets, as the fire got into the point where it's so bright he can't even see where he's going. The world is no more black, it's just yellow, as he can see the fire that he's walking. As he sees the thing that he's walking towards, as it's like a small flame. But he doesn't know what's happening with the voice in his head. He can hear it, and it's getting very loud, as it states, burn, burn, burn. As now Miss Goodwitch finally takes note on what's happening to the Rwby team, as he sees Rwby and White on their knees, basically, like, for some reason, and Arthur is on fire. Arthur's entire half of Arthur's body is now on fire, as the fire is pretty warm. As Yang and Blake also took note as they are watching this scene, as Yang and Blake wanted to rush to help Rwby and Weiss out, but Miss Goodwitch prevented them and states, "You two stay there. We don't know what's happening to Arthur, and for all we know, it could be dangerous if you two rush in there as well." As Miss Goodwitch basically uses, I think, her telekinesis and takes a small wood log and just moves Yang and Rwby Weiss and Rwby out of the perimeter of which they are stuck in. As Rwby states, "Thank you, Miss Goodwitch, but we don't know what's happening to them. The temperature just suddenly started changing and he was on fire." As Miss Goodwitch is like, "It seems to be he's causing this, the temperature change. And what reason he's on fire, it doesn't seem to be affecting him. Children, it seems to be we need to keep a very specific perimeter away from Mr. Arthur, or else he could kill us with whatever he's doing." As the as Rwby wanted to, I would say Weiss wanted to protest, but Rwby states, I think we should stay away from Arthur now, or else one of us could get hurt." As Weiss wanted to say, as Weiss states, what about him? He could be getting hurt. As Professor Miss Goodwitch states, it doesn't seem to be Arthur is in any pain whatsoever. It seemed to be he's doing just fine. Unlike us, we could die because of whatever he's doing. So let's stay away and hope this goes away. If it escalates any more, then we'll do something to prevent it. As the temperature is increasing, as he gets closer to the flame that he's walking towards, as he's right now, he can see the flame, as this flame is a white flame. And around the white flame is a yellow golden flame as well. Inside a pot, as now it says burn, burn to ashes, burn to ashes, burn to ashes, as he's now on top of the flame. Now inside the real world, Arthur's body is entirely on fire. His clothes is not burning up, but his body is on fire. As he takes a breath, as when he takes a breath, the flames start going away. When it got so hot that flames started being produced, as when he opened his mouth to take a breath, the flames all went in his mouth. Like the scene from Natsu. As he closes it, as he opens his eye that he closed back again when Rwby noticed that he was on fire, he opens it back again. As in the dream world that he's in, he picks up the flame. As the tattoo that was on his left arm spread over his entire body, with all these different patterns and different symbols. As the symbols go away, as the flames as well goes away. As his eye is open, all the flames that he just produced goes away and the temperature drops again. As he stands up, cocks his fist back, and basically does what All Might did. As we see Arthur push his fist up into the air, as he starts screaming, but at the back of his voice is like a dragon roar. As he as he screams out the following words: "Dragon, roar," as his fist ignites in fire, as it starts basically producing this massive fire dragon into the sky, as this fire dragon is twirling into the sky all the way to the clouds, as it explodes, as the clouds that were in the air basically disperse from this power, that dragon power that he just released. As he starts panting with his one eye open, as he breathes heavily in, out, in, out, as we see Arthur drop to his knees and say it, I think That is a new ability of mine. As he looks down at his hands, as he sees his hands, scales. No, scales. I don't know why I thought of that instead of scales. I was going to say scales, but my mind went straight to the other thing. So that was a mix of words. Scales. As he sees his hands, it's filled with blue scales. I wouldn't say blue. It's a mix. It's basically white scales, not blue, but white. As he states, well, I guess I discovered my other abilities now. As he gives off a smile. As I'm gonna stop it there because I've reached an hour-long video. And maybe I might split this video in half, depending. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. Bye.